Should you get the Steam Deck? Hello, welcome to my humble abode. My name is Denise, and if you're like me, a cozier casual gamer, then you might be wondering if the Steam Deck is a good fit for you. I personally had some reservations about the Steam Deck when I initially pre-ordered it because it looked really bulky, kind of ugly, and at the time there weren't many games that Steam had verified as playable on the Steam Deck. But after a couple of months of playing the Steam Deck, I found that there are so many pros to this little device right here. However, there are still some cons that might not make it a good fit for you, which I'll go over in this video. As a cozy gaming enthusiast, I really value being able to play games comfortably, whether it be on my bed, on the couch, or while I'm traveling. I love portability and the ease of being able to play wherever I want to, which is why I think so many cozy gamers love the Nintendo Switch in comparison to other consoles such as the Xbox or PlayStation, which requires you to be tethered to one room. The Steam Deck is a new competitor in the handheld gaming market that I think is an absolutely great console because you can play Steam games wherever you want to. Though Steam has so many great sales that are often better than Nintendo eShop sales, one thing that held me back from getting games on Steam was that I had to be tied down to a laptop or PC to play Steam games prior to getting the Steam Deck. But a lot of cozier casual gamers don't necessarily have the strongest laptop or PC, if at all, and if you want a good gaming PC or laptop that runs games pretty well, it can usually cost you up to $1,000 and more. And for the casual gamer, this might be too much of an ask to spend, especially if you just play games casually. It's also not really comfortable to play games on your PC, especially if you're somebody who already spends the majority of the day working for hours in front of a monitor at your 9 to 5. Thankfully, the Steam Deck packs a punch in terms of performance while offering a range of prices from their lowest tier, which is $399, the mid tier at $529, and the highest tier at $649. Obviously, there is a huge difference in terms of pricing. However, there isn't a huge difference in performance between each of them. In fact, all of them run pretty well in terms of performance. As you can see in this image right here, the biggest difference is actually the amount of storage you have in the Steam Deck between each of these tiers, as well as the accessories that you get. But to be honest, the lowest tier is pretty darn good, and you don't have to splurge on the mid or highest tier to enjoy the Steam Deck. I personally got the lowest tier, and it doesn't have much storage, but you're able to add a micro SD card to increase your storage capacity. And other than that, it's been amazing, and I haven't encountered too many problems. Currently, the Steam Deck only comes in black, but Steam might come out with Steam Decks in other colors in the future. If you have a Nintendo Switch, you'll know that the Switch is infamous for its thumbstick drift issues on its controllers, which cause your characters or cursor in a game to continue moving even when you aren't actually pushing the joystick in a direction. Fortunately for the Nintendo Switch, the controllers are detachable and replaceable, unlike the Steam Deck, which begs the question, does the Steam Deck have any thumbstick drift issues? According to an article from The Verge, when the first batch of Steam Deck was initially released, a handful of owners reported stick drift on their devices, but according to Valve, it was a dead zone calibration issue. Unfortunately, what this means is that it was a software issue rather than a hardware issue, and the team quickly shipped out a fix for it. And considering how annoyed Switch owners were about this thumbstick drift issue, I'm pretty sure the Valve team was incredibly cognizant of the drift issue while producing the Steam Deck, and thankfully they fixed it rather quickly after the launch of the Steam Deck. Rather than outright replacing your Nintendo Switch, I think the Steam Deck is actually a nice complementary device. There are many Nintendo Switch exclusives that are only available on the Switch that would be a shame to miss out on, but the Steam Deck is a wonderful device if you want to play games that require more power or if you want the games to run well. And after getting the Steam Deck, I don't really touch my other consoles as much. Compared to the Switch, a lot of games run a lot better on the Steam Deck. I rarely have ever experienced lags or frame drops on the Steam Deck if a game has been verified on the Steam Deck. For more graphically intense games, the Steam Deck's battery only lasts 2 to 3 hours, so many Steam Deck users recommend getting an external battery if you want to play games on the go. But for more chill games, I really don't have any issues. The battery lasts reasonably long, and according to Steam, the Steam Deck lasts between 2 to 8 hours depending on what sort of game you're playing. So if you're playing a game that is a little bit more intense, just be sure that you're next to an outlet so you can charge your device quickly. But please do note, if you're playing like a AAA game or a more intense game, then the fan is going to run pretty loud and pretty warm, so just make a note of that. Earlier on in the video, I mentioned Steam Deck verification, but you might be wondering what exactly that is and how it affects what games are playable by you. There are actually 4 badges that a game can earn depending on where it stands in the Steam Deck verification process, which include Deck Verified, Deck Playable, Unsupported, and Unknown or Untested. A deck verified game has to check 4 boxes, which include input, display, seamlessness, and system report before they are considered a deck verified game. These deck verified games should provide a pleasant gaming experience, run smoothly, and besides hitting the launch button, you don't need to configure anything for it to be a seamless experience. However, if a game fails one of the 4 prerequisites needed to earn the verified seal, then it is considered a deck playable game rather than a deck verified game. A deck playable game tends to be mostly functional, but may need you to configure the controls and game slightly for a better gaming experience. Some common issues that people have encountered with deck playable games include the game not automatically set to work with the controller, it doesn't automatically bring up the on-screen mouse and keyboard, it uses a third-party launcher, or the default text size was too small for the 720p display. Now, if a game has trouble running on the Steam Deck or can't run at all, then it is considered an unsupported game. Many of these games that have been categorized as unsupported will say Valve is still working on adding support for the game on this deck. The 4th category is unknown or untested games, which are games that have not been tested by Steam just yet, but Steam plans to go ahead and test each and every single game within its catalog, so make sure to go ahead and check back to see if there are any changes and if it's earned its badge. However, if you still want to go ahead and try out the game, you can absolutely do so and check if it works on the Steam Deck. Just because it doesn't have a verified badge doesn't mean it won't work on the Steam Deck. And currently, there aren't a lot of Steam Deck customization options as of right now, since the Steam Deck is still so new, but the brand has some great quality skins, which I've bought myself and applied to my Steam Deck, and it looks pretty good so far, but I wish there were more options to choose from. But another really great way to go ahead about customizing your device is just thumb grips. Thumb grips are a great way to customize your Steam Deck, so if you have any leftover thumb grips from your Switch or other controllers, they should work well with your Steam Deck too. And since we're on the topic of accessorizing and customization, there is an official Steam Deck dock that is available for $80, which allows you to go ahead and display your game on a TV screen. However, I think it's pretty overpriced, and there are other docks available on the market that are a fraction of the cost that do just as well. And in fact, my dock is about $30 and it does a great job of displaying my games on the TV and has multiple ports in case you want to connect an extra controller. It also charges your Steam Deck while connected to the TV, which is really nice since there is only one USB-C port on the Steam Deck. Since the Steam Deck is pretty much a smaller version of a PC, you can play Genshin Impact, Stardew Valley mods, so I'm really excited to go ahead and try to add some Stardew Valley mods so I can go ahead and play Stardew Valley Expanded portably, which is amazing since you can't do that on Nintendo Switch. You also can't really play Genshin Impact on the Nintendo Switch, which I know a lot of people have been wanting to do for a really long time. Another cool feature is that you can also connect a keyboard and mouse to your Steam Deck, so you can use it like a mini PC, but I mean, the screen is kind of small, so I don't know if you'd want to use it like that, but it is definitely possible. So in the case that you want to play a point and click game portably, maybe that's a possibility, because I know with a controller a lot of point and click games don't work as well, but maybe just connect a keyboard and mouse. I certainly haven't done that yet, but that's something I like to try. So far, I'm really enjoying my Steam Deck. It's something that I grab a lot. I have a lot of Steam games that I haven't touched on my Steam account because it was really tedious to go on my PC, log in, and then just like sit down and play my games when I've already been sitting at a laptop, computer, monitor for hours during my job. So it's not something I want to do while I'm like enjoying my time playing a little game. But now I actually grab my Steam Deck more than I do with my Nintendo Switch, mostly because the Steam Deck has a much larger screen, so it's a lot easier to see things than on Nintendo Switch. I have the original Nintendo Switch model, which is a little bit smaller than the OLED version, and though I do love it, it is a little bit uncomfortable because it doesn't have the grips on the side right here. So these grips are really important, I think, when you're grabbing onto things, and it feels very secure in the hands. And despite being slightly heavier, for me it's not that bad. If it gets really heavy, I can lay it on a pillow and it's completely fine, especially when I'm laying down on bed. That is like the best time to pull out the Steam Deck. I've played more games than I've ever had using the Steam Deck than I did with the Nintendo Switch or PC, and it has been such a joy since I buy too many Steam games far too impulsively, which is a problem, but it has been a great time. And I definitely think that if you're a casual gamer who doesn't have a lot of time to play games, or if you don't want to like spend too much on a laptop, PC, or anything like that and love to play games portably, this is a great device, especially at the lowest price, which is $399. And though this is still steep, I think this is really a great investment since Steam has so many different sales going on all the time, so a lot of games run a lot cheaper on Steam than on the Nintendo eShop. The Steam Deck has been out since it was released on February 25th, 2022, and in the beginning, it took a long time for the Steam Deck to come out, especially if you weren't part of the first batch of pre-orders. But now it's super quick and easy to get a Steam Deck, and you can get the Steam Deck on the Steam website, which I've linked in the description below. It's shipped 1 to 2 weeks after it's been ordered, which is much faster than what I got initially, so now it is the prime time to get it for yourself or as a present. Make sure to like, subscribe, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!